Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. I am Samantha with Starkey Farmstead. I know most of you have heard about this bridge falling. Well, guys, I've got some information you're not going to hear anywhere else. We're going to talk about the report card that I found giving Maryland a C on the keeping up of their infrastructure. We're going to talk about how the Green New Deal and COVID money has run out, and now they're cutting the budget. And in doing so, you guys, these old bridges, like the Francis Scott Key Bridge, 47 years old, on its last leg to begin with, are going to begin to fall. And this, my friend, is going to happen all over the United States. So let's get into this very, very important topic, because there's more here than you think.
This morning, that is where the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed after it was hit by a container ship. You can see the dramatic moment that the bridge fell into the water. Right now, investigators are on the scene and search and rescue efforts are underway.
That would be the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Now, before we go any further, I'd like to give my condolences to the families of the people that passed away due to this. May God ease your sorrow. Let's jump into it, you guys. I dug up a Bridges report. Yes, you heard me. Maryland, like most states, gets a report card on its infrastructure. Well, I found theirs. Yes, I did. So before we get into that, you guys, I want to go ahead and clarify this. Some people were saying this was a terrorist attack. As of right now, they are claiming that it is not a terrorist attack. Watch this.
What do we know about how this happened?
One of the big takeaways from this is that this ship said that it had a problem. Perhaps it lost power, propulsion, and didn't have the steering ability or maneuverability that it should have. It was coming in fast at 8 knots, and it gave the bridge team enough time to issue a Mayday alert, and they were able to stop traffic and therefore save lives. If you watched closely on the streaming video before impact, you see a lot of traffic, tractor trailers, cars moving across that bridge, and then just moments before impact, when that bridge falls, we really don't see any traffic at all. And that is one of the big moments and takeaways from that press conference. A hero there was able to stop traffic because of that Mayday call.
So most of you know we have been demonetized. What does that mean? It means that YouTube doesn't want to pay for conservative Christian values going across the airways. It means Satan doesn't want people to hear the truth. It backfired. I put out more videos now that they demonetized me than I did before. Well, because I'm kind of stubborn like that. If you would like to support our ministry, because this is a ministry, we only speak truth. I correct myself when I'm wrong, and I do it openly. And we spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. If you would like to support that so that more people are inclined to do this, please drop something in PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. It'll also be pinned and comments at the top. There'll be links. You can just click them and follow it. Back to the video. So we'll stay on top of that, looking at evidence as it comes out. Now, I want to make a point here. Governor Wes Moore is a Dem, obviously. Maryland is a blue state and has been for multiple years, like 40. Okay, just solid blue all the way across. Right now, the problem with Maryland, like with most blue states, is their major cities are falling apart. There is no money. Maryland, like so many other states, depended on COVID funding to dig itself out of its fiscal hole. Now that that money has dried up, they are cutting every department by 8% of the budget. They're saying we're taking 8% away. Yet, at the same time, Maryland has been very progressive with their illegal alien population. They're offering free insurance. Guys, the price tag for Maryland with their illegal aliens is hundreds of millions. Hundreds of millions of dollars is going into education, is going into medical care for newborn babies. It's going into other projects like TANF and food stamps, okay? So I just want you to imagine if Baltimore, Maryland, or the whole state of Maryland would have used these hundreds of millions of dollars to work on the infrastructure of their state, would this bridge have collapsed? I do want to point out that Maryland loves its illegal immigration population so much because of this. That's the types of jobs illegal immigrants do. Those are the jobs that barely pay taxes. And we know, we have proof from the federal government that the number one baby population are the illegals. So they have the lowest paying jobs, lowest wages. They cost us way more than they give back to the community. And they have more children, which means they use the taxes they pay in as a welfare system, and they get tax credit back on their kids. What that means is if they owe $200, but they have 6 kids, they're going to get back $10,000 from the IRS when they only paid in $200. Right. Make that make sense. Now, I want you to just listen. I found some really unique evidence. I found the Bridges report card from 2020. They were given a B. In 2011, they were given a B minus. And it says here, and I quote, resilience. Maryland continues to make strong efforts to ensure the resilience of its bridges. Resilient bridges have the capacity to withstand all forces without collapse. I can't make this up. I can't make it up. They are able to recover from distress or major damage with minimal disruption to traffic or services. Does this look like minimal to you?
That's right. They need to assess the damage on that ship before anybody goes on to the ship. So they want to make sure that there's nothing there that might be a risk to rescuers who might get on the ship. And they want to make sure it's still seaworthy. It appears to be seaworthy. It's still sitting right there where it hit the bridge. In the meantime, you know, because that they know everybody on that ship seems to be okay.
So let me keep going. Maryland's inspection program has been cited as one of the best in the country. Maryland is also adopting innovative methods, technologies, and materials and using systematic preventative maintenance, bridge management systems, and asset management principles to balance needs and resources to maintain a high level of safety in highway bridges. That's what they say. They gave him a B. They said that about 54% of the total number of bridges are owned or maintained by Maryland Department of Transportation, and the remaining 46 are owned by local and other jurisdictions. That said, more than 80% of the total bridge deck or in Maryland area in Maryland is state owned, and only 1.4% of this deck area is in poor condition, according to 2018 data. The state highway system carries the vast majority of traffic in Maryland, especially in heavy truck traffic. And it's important that our bridges are kept in safe order. A bridge rated poor does not mean it's unsafe, but it can cause limitations on vehicle speeds and weights to ensure the structure remains open. And then they go on to talk about the billions they would need to fix Maryland bridges, because many bridges in Maryland are older and within the next decade will be reaching the end of their original design service life. The typical design life for an in-service bridge is between 50 and 75 years. More than 50% of Maryland bridges are over 40 years old, and there are 30% are over 50 years old. Where's your money going, Maryland? You guys are Democrat. You're a Democrat state. You're spending hundreds of millions of dollars a year, in a year, on illegal aliens rather than fixing your infrastructure for your citizens. I got this comment on the video about the invasion into rural areas. She is obviously a blue stater who goes on to talk with her God complex, because see, that's the problem with liberals. They have a God complex. In her statement, and I quote, blue states give money to rural red state areas to help us with infrastructure. That's what they do. And without them, we're so poor that we would have nothing. Yeah, I blocked her. You guys know I did. Because anybody that ignorant with that much of a God complex has no place on this platform. They have no place on this platform. Now, recently, and I don't know the date of this because I could not find it, there was a bipartisan law passed all about fixing the bridges. Guys, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars from federal government, along with what Maryland was already going to put into the pot. But here's the problem. Maryland is a progressive Green New Deal state. So their gasoline taxes are dropping tremendously, right? Because so many people have vehicles that get better gas mileage. Their new vehicle tax is dropping because people are keeping their vehicles longer. Why is that? Because the whole economy is crashing. Very few people can afford $900 for a car note every month. So all of these progressive laws and stuff that they're passing in Maryland is literally cutting into their tax base because, as usual, Dems don't think it through. Excuse me. They don't think it through. They're like, okay, your tax base for fixing your roads have always been based off of things like inspection stickers, new car taxes, gas taxes. Well, now you're going to pass laws to incentivize people buying electric cars. But you don't change your tax law. So now you have less money coming in to fix your infrastructure. You can't make this stuff up, you guys. So how do I feel about the bridge collapsing? I feel like that bridge should have held. I do think, I mean, like common sense says the piling that they hit on each side, it probably would have broke. But the entirety of the bridge collapsing, come on now. Come on now, let's watch it again together.
It seems that this ship, the 948-foot-long Dolly, a Singapore-flagged cargo vessel, you can actually see it still stuck there in the channel, as obviously, that they lost propulsion at some point in the night. They alerted bridge officials that they had lost control of the ship, and then the collision and the steel truss bridge came down into the water. That is the working theory. There were automobiles on the bridge. There was construction going on that bridge. And as you just said, 6 people still believed missing. We are hearing the helicopters, search and rescue helicopters from time to time. We're told that there were divers in the water. They were looking on the surface of the water as well, and on the deck of that enormous cargo ship for anyone who may have survived. That effort continues here, but this apparently began when the ship lost propulsion, lost control, and collided into the bridge.
Now, for the ones of you who may not understand how it works with port authorities, but when a ship comes into that port, they have to pick up a captain, basically, a navigator, someone to navigate them through around the bridges and all of that. From my understanding, that all happened, okay? So there was an American citizen with the authority to navigate the ship on that Singapore ship. But here's what I find very interesting. Singapore recently declared they are not our friends. They are not an American ally in any way, shape, or form. They will not help us. They will not pay to have our military help them. They want nothing to do with America. So, again, very interesting. So let's review. Francis Scott Key Bridge is hit by a cargo ship from Singapore, who I've already told you, not our friends. Clearly stated. Not our ally, not our friend for America in any way, shape, or form. Number 2, It is costing over $500 million a year for the illegal aliens flooding into Maryland. Number 3, the infrastructure report card from 2020 gave them a C overall. From everything from building to bridges to roads to tunnels, all of it. Not good. Not, in my opinion, not passing. Not passing. Number 4, the governor just came out in 2024 and said, hey, we've got to cut funding to infrastructure. In fact, he said that about 30-something days ago. And now look what happened. Number 5, America is open to attack from multiple places in multiple ways by multiple enemies in our country and outside of it. If you are not prepared for anything at this point, you need to be. Because I do see our electrical grids going out, our bridges being taken out, our tunnels being taken out. I see our communications being taken out. By the way, if you are not part of our bi-monthly newsletter, it costs $30. I highly suggest you get on that list. You can email me, or you can drop $30 in the Venmo account or PayPal, and I'm going to email you back saying, is this the correct address? So make sure you get on that email so you can stay up to date at what's going on in this country, no matter how they try to shut us up. I would like to know what your thoughts are. For the ones that you watched the entire video, and I know there's some of you who did, God bless your heart. I love you guys. Let me know what you think. Was this a terrorist attack? Was this just an accident? Should it have been as bad as it was? Did the Maryland government, did the state of Maryland fail their citizens? In my opinion, it's a yes. In my opinion, had that been my husband working on that bridge, or my son or my father, or one of my family members crossing in a vehicle, and they were injured or killed by this, you'd have a lawsuit on your desk tomorrow for not taking care of business. When funds, when tax dollars, when programs are being used to house, feed, and take care of illegal aliens, illegal immigrants who have no right to be in this country, and the infrastructure of cities are crumbling. Anytime an American citizen gets hurt, you have a right to sue, and you should. Because obviously the only way to get these people's attention is money. Vote no on any new tax increases, land property increases. I don't care who they tell you it's for. The Dems love to increase taxes. The answer is no. Cut the money off. Cut their money off. God bless you. Please make sure you're still subscribed. Like, comment, share this video. God bless you guys.